friends! Hi, my name is Mia and this is my virtual vanity, a place where we both love makeup and we're quite critical of it. I welcome you to another art-inspired Shop My Stash. Today I am doing a collaboration with my wonderful friend Emily Hanhan. I will talk more about Emily as the video progresses, but first let me show you what I'm shopping my stash for and the piece of art this is inspired by. The painting this is inspired by is a painting of Konstantin Razumov of two ballet dancers, one of which is receiving a letter from her lover. Or at least that's what the title says. Maybe she's looking at a meme or something. God knows what she's doing. For base, I'm going to start with the Catrice Prime and Fine Aqua Fresh Hydro Primer, which is one of my favorite hydrating primers. You know, I only chose this because the packaging matches the blue tones that he so beautifully chose. That was it. For foundation, I'm choosing the Holika Petit Shimmering BB Cream. I do use this on the daily. I've never quite shown it on my channel, and I think it would be an interesting new thing to talk about. This has light coverage and is best applied with your fingers. For powder, I'm choosing the Nabla Close-Up Powder in Light, a very finely milled powder, great for both setting the face and the under eyes. I sometimes use it as a finishing powder to try to blend out things that maybe did not apply as they were intended by God to be applied. So this is a really great one. I'm going to keep the brows very, very light because I want the focus to be on the colors of my face and not on strong aquiline power brows. And I'm going to use the Essence Make Me Brow, a cult favorite for a reason, a very light but pigmented brow gel. For lips, I'm going to use a combo. First and foremost, I'm going to use the Kiko Creamy Color Lip Liner in 302, which is a beautiful, beautiful rose pink shade. This formula is very creamy, very pigmented, beautiful to use even as like a pencil lipstick. It's really beautiful. One of my favorite lip liner formulas. And in the center of the lips, I'm going to apply the Boom Boom Bloom MAC lipstick in Wasaga Twirl, which is a much colder pink. And I feel that on my complexion, while this is a beautiful pink, it really does need to be offset by something warmer in the edges. And it's a beautiful color on me, but I'm not into these cool tones on the lips by themselves. And the store lights tricked me into thinking this was much warmer. Let's talk blush, because I'm actually going to use a combo of two blushes. This is a Melkior single, a very beautiful petal pink. And this is really called Sweet Pink, very apt name. I'm going to use this as my main blush shade to mimic the soft pink of the fabrics that he used. And then on top of that, I'm going to use the Pupa Marbled blush. This was a limited edition item, and I've not used this as much because, well, I mostly use shimmery blushes like these a lot in the summer, and it's not been summertime for quite a while. As you can see, this is very shimmery. It could even act as a highlighter or a blush topper. So that is what I'm going to use it as, just to add more dimension to the face. Let's get to my favorite part of everything, eyeshadow. I'm first going to use the PS Velvet Cherry eyeshadow palette. This is a palette from Primark, which I paid £4 for, and the quality is phenomenal. It's just that I've not been using it really at all, except to pull for maybe one or two shades in it. And I do feel that these pale pinky tones really fit the colors of the painting very well. And for the blue fabric, that airy light blue, what a masterful way he painted those gauzy chiffon type of fabrics. I'm going to use the Devinah Cosmetics shadow in Everlasting Gobstoppers, because it's blue but it's not fully opaque. It's like a sparkle of blue, a shower of blue. See how pretty that is? I'm going to use the Misha single in Blue Hole Prism, which looks neutral in the pan but actually has a much colder blue shift than the Everlasting Gobstoppers one. See? and I plan to use that in the middle of the lid. This was it, guys. These were my picks. Let's proceed to actually talking about the painting itself, and today we're going to talk about the Bolshoi Theatre, where Russian ballet really reached its peak. Welcome to another art-inspired Shop My Stash. Today's art is inspired by a painting by Konstantin Razumov. This is the painting that we are going to do a look inspired by, and it's of two ballet dancers, one of which is reading a letter from her lover or admirer or whatever. Today's video is in collaboration with my wonderful, beautiful friend Emily, and I'm of course going to link her channel down below. Emily loves colorful makeup. She's a hoot. She's so fun, so sassy. She loves, to quote her, colorful makeup and colorful language. She tells it as it is. She's honestly been nothing but a light and kind ever since she joined YouTube. I really think that if you like creative looks with a bit of sass sprinkled throughout, you should really check out her channel. I'm going to begin doing my base, and we're going to start talking about what I wanted to talk, and I'm going to talk about a mishmash of Russian ballet, ballet controversies, and the Bolshoi Theatre. And that's inspired by the fact that I recently read the book Bolshoi Confidential, which, as far as books goes, it's okay. It's a bit convoluted, and the author just kind of loses himself in this Gordian knot of details, drama, and intrigue. But since I'm a bitch that loves drama but doesn't like being in drama, it's like a soap opera written on paper, and I've been really enjoying it. Going to start with the Catrice primer, and what I like most about this primer is that it's like a moisturizer, but it also locks in your makeup and helps it stay longer, and for my parched winter skin, it's perfect. Let's start with Russian ballet. Russian ballet was born way before the Bolshoi Theatre. One of Russia's most famous and prestigious theaters even existed. But it wasn't ballet as you think it. And pointe wasn't the thing yet. It was just theatrical dancing. To continue with the Holika Shimmering Petit BB. I really like this, but this feels like more of a winter BB cream than a summer one, because it's not as emollient as other ones I've tried. This is very sheer coverage. If you want coverage of any sort, you're not going to get it from this one. What's very interesting is that Russian ballet was so inherently political. That is, the dancing style and what was favored as part of the dancing choreography, repertoire, and movements was very much influenced by the political climate at the time. For example, when it was like a very nationalist period, when at the height of the Russian Empire, the empire felt the need to inspire its people and its peasantry, at the height of the Soviet regime, where, as you know, socialist movements are very much based in workers' power. Whenever those types of occasions arose, the choreography would find itself filled with more popular folk dances and movements. Not only the choreography itself, but also the topics of the plays. You would find the theaters straying from classics or from things that didn't relate to day-to-day life and didn't have appeal to the masses, and instead put on plays that featured the peasantry or the life of peasants, or something that was more down to earth as opposed to some Orphaic, oniric, dreamscape-like theme. And I think what we need to keep in mind with all creative pursuits, including dancing, is that the human condition begets art. And then art also influences the human condition. So it's really no wonder that the political climate influenced what people were creating. From artwork, painting, drawing, literature, even dancing. Even dancing was different during communist times, different than it was in imperial times, different than it is nowadays. Let's talk a bit about the Bolshoi Theatre itself. That thing has risen from its ashes more than a phoenix. It changed, more than I change every year when I start my New Year's resolution. More flammable than a trash can full of gasoline. It burned down several times, was rebuilt several times, withstood bombings, was renovated more times than I could count. And it wasn't born as the Bolshoi Theater. Before, it was the Petrovska Theater. And eventually that thing burned down during the Napoleonic siege. After soldiers were like starved out of the city, eventually the Russians rebuilt it, gave it a new building, built a square next to it, and as such the Bolshoi and its academy was created. The academy at first wasn't even a proper academy. Actually, the Petrovska was near an orphanage. And the orphanage also had plays, and they were in distinct competition with each other. And eventually, after a lot of strife, the Petrovska assimilated that other theater and also gave a home to the orphans and trained them as dancers, gave them food, shelter, etc. And eventually built, rebuilt, the theater became a matter of national pride. And since the dances turned political, so did the stage. During Soviet times, and even during imperial times, politicians would often discuss state affairs at the Bolshoi, and the Bolshoi was used as a smokescreen. Its plays were used as a smokescreen for political maneuvering and even political propaganda. The topics of the plays, who danced in it, how they danced, was used to further the regime and also spread political messages. As I said, the more they wanted to appeal to the people, the more the topics of the plays and the choreography of the dancing changed. And there was so much controversy surrounding the theater and the ballet itself. Because, well, you know, I mentioned orphans earlier, right? Well, it turns out some of those poor orphans, specifically girls, were basically used like in a brothel and auctioned out to men of means. Not only that, but the problem is that apparently this continues even today, with controversies going back as early as the early 2000s, when a ballet dancer actually accused the theater of prostituting its dancers, and if you did not accept, you did not get the roles that you wanted in the plays put out currently. Not only that, but there's an intrinsic link between dancers, teachers, and the directors, with some dancers being involved with the directors and being favored for roles, teachers that honestly had no place teaching but were favored by the current ruling political party, and so on. It's a fucking mess. And there's so much drama in that theater. Recently, one of the directors got acid thrown in his face because a male dancer thought that his girlfriend was being slighted and overlooked. The dancers themselves go through so much pain to stay in the company. They have to be a certain weight, they have to have certain measurements. I even saw a documentary where at the Bolshoi Academy of Ballet, which is one of the most prestigious academy, it's like a boarding school with dancing included. So you have very young children, tens of children per spot during admission, and they get evaluated based on everything, on their talent, on their looks, on their bone structure, their weight. So Russia, in a sense, really is very selective about which dancers it trains, which dancers it keeps, and then which dancers in turn make it. There's a certain look to Russian dancers, and that's because Russia strives to keep that look. More, the problem is that because they have to fit such narrow standards of beauty, they develop a lot of eating disorders, and it's even encouraged by the teachers, encouraged by the director, encouraged by themselves among each other. It's a very competitive world. You have to be very talented, and not only talented at dancing, but the Russian school of ballet also appreciates theatrics and the way that your upper body moves. So it's not just your legs that have to do the work. You have to be a good actor as well and have great movement in the upper body. Overall, this painting is very serene. This painting is beautiful. It's eerie, it's dreamy, but the world of ballet, the dream is just on the stage while you're in the moment. Afterwards, there's pain, there's drama, there's corrupt officials, there's politics, which is honestly par the course with Eastern Europe. Politics is in everything we do, including dancing. Okay guys, this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I look that I created with it. Please don't forget to check out Emily's channel, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, morning, whatever it is you're from. Bye!